Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the massive evolution of influencer marketing, a world that's changing faster than you can double tap. All right, let's kick things off with a number that, well, it really says a lot. 57%. Yep, that's right. A 2023 survey found that that's how many Gen Zers dream of making a career out of being an influencer. It's not just a side hustle anymore. For a lot of people, it's the ultimate career goal. So this naturally leads to a really big question, one we're going to unpack in this explainer. When the field is this crowded, what actually works? What really moves the needle? Well, for one thing, it looks like a global industry that has blown past the $30 billion mark. This isn't just about a few sponsored posts. We're talking about a serious economic engine here. And check this out. One marketing firm put it perfectly. This isn't some experimental line item in a budget anymore. Nope. It's becoming core infrastructure. Brands are literally building their growth plans around creators. Okay, so this brings us to our first major idea, the great shift from popularity to performance. What we're seeing is a huge pivot in what the entire industry values. The old rulebook, it's pretty much being thrown out the window. You know, the game has totally changed. It used to be all about chasing eyeballs, how many people saw it. But now, the new metric is way, way tougher. What results did it actually drive? Impressions are one thing, but sales, that's the real conversation. And this slide really lays it all out, the old way versus the new way. On one side, you have your macro influencers, the huge celebrity accounts. They're great for broad awareness. But on the other side, you've got the micro influencers. They're all about a very specific niche, they have insane levels of community trust, and their whole game is focused on conversion. And wow, this chart just spells it out, doesn't it? Look at the performance gap on a platform like TikTok. Micro-influencers are getting engagement rates that are nearly 3 times higher than the biggest accounts. That tells you their audience isn't just passively scrolling by, they are tuned in. So, okay, higher engagement is great, but what about the bottom line, the money? Well, the numbers are pretty staggering. On average, for every single dollar a brand puts into influencer marketing, they're seeing about $6 back in return. When you do it right, that's an ROI you just can't argue with. All right, so that leads us right into our next section, the new power players and the micro-influencer advantage. Let's really get into why these smaller creators are packing such a big punch. First things first, let's be crystal clear on what a micro-influencer even is. It's not really about being small, it's about being focused. They have a smaller but super engaged following within a specific community. And their real value? It's not in the raw follower count. It's in their authenticity and the deep trust they've built up. So why do they get such great results? Well, it boils down to a few things that are really hard for those huge accounts to copy. They've got deeper trust, which means higher conversions. They're seen as leaders in their little corner of the internet. And their content? It feels like a real recommendation from a friend, not some slick corporate advertisement. And on the flip side of that coin, brands are realizing that just hiring the biggest name they can find comes with its own set of headaches. You've got serious questions about ROI. The market is so saturated with ads that people just tune out. And when an influencer is promoting 10 different things a week, well, that trust starts to wear pretty thin. Okay, moving on to our next section, the professional toolkit, AI, and new rules. Because this shift to performance, it's not just a change in thinking. It's forcing the entire industry to grow up, to professionalize. And that means new tools and new rules are entering the picture. And at the heart of this is AI. Seriously, artificial intelligence is turning what used to be a guessing game into a science. First, for discovery, it helps find the right creators based on actual data, not just follower counts. Then, for vetting, it can spot fake followers and engagement fraud in a heartbeat. And finally, for optimization, it can even use predictive analytics to forecast how well a campaign is going to do. But it's not just about the tech. The whole ecosystem is maturing. Think about it. We're going from informal, hey, let's work together DMs, to a much more structured world. We're talking clear disclosure rules from bodies like the FTC, standardized contracts, and yeah, AI-powered tools to fight things like misinformation and fake engagement. The Wild West days are definitely over. So what's the takeaway for the brands you and I follow? They have to get a whole lot smarter. The playbook for 2026 and beyond is all about building real, long-term partnerships, not just one-off posts. It's about letting creators be creators and tell authentic stories. And it's about tracking the metrics that actually matter, like sales and cost per acquisition. And all of this, the focus on performance, the rise of the micro-influencer, the new tools and rules, it all leads us to one final, really important idea: the future of trust. So let's wrap this all up. If you remember nothing else, remember these 4 key takeaways. 1. Performance is the new currency. ROI beats reach, period. 2. Micro is mighty. These smaller, trusted creators are the ones driving real business. 3. AI is the co-pilot. Data's in the driver's seat now. And 4. Rules are the reality. This is a regulated, professional industry. And that leaves us with one last big, kind of mind-bending thought to chew on. In a world where we've got AI-generated influencers and deepfake ads, what does authenticity even mean anymore? As technology keeps blurring those lines, figuring out what's real and who to trust, well, that's going to be the next great challenge. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.